Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Michael. Hope you're doing well. I am going to be starting a new project today. This is my channel for teaching myself Python. I'm a beginner programmer, teaching myself Python through various means. I've read Python Crash Course, and then I'm reading data structures and algorithms in Python, and I also have a couple of books here, such as Python Machine Learning and Fluent Python that I will be reading over the course of the next few weeks and months. And I would like to create some projects in between that. I get bored doing the same thing over and over again every day. And so I kind of want to shake things up every once in a while and keep things fresh and, implement the things I'm learning on a daily basis in my readings actually into projects because that's the best way to actually learn those and apply those concepts. So, the goal for today is let me go ahead and open the sticky. So, stream goals 11/19, right, 2024. So, we want to um, create, flow for classes and subclasses. We want to, what else would we like to do? Just kind of create flow for general projects, right? And then, yeah. So let's go ahead and we'll float this on top here so we can keep it on view. Okay, so the idea for this project is I need to um, I want to develop a software that small business users can use. I personally am a co-owner of a small business with my girlfriend where we resell. We source and find secondhand clothing and we sell them to our customers for a good, fair price. Just for environmental purposes and also for sustainable fashion. Now, that being said, I found a need that there's a lot of softwares out there that require you to pay. And I don't want to pay for software. I want to make my own software. So that's what I'm going to do here. And it's going to be a long, lengthy process. I'm going to try to create a GUI using TK-Inter or Tkinter. Hello, Kerwin. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you coming in and leaving a comment as usual. I love having you here. So, yeah, I'm going to try to incorporate TK-Inter into this new project to fix your GitHub link in the. Okay, sorry, I need to do that because I did update that link to lowercase. Thanks you for reminding me. Edit. Um, let me see here. GitHub task tracker. Copy. Oh, bring that back. Paste. All right, there you go. I went ahead and updated the GitHub link in the description of the video. Thanks for that. Hey, Eric, thanks for joining. Okay, so the goal for today is I'm not going to stream for so long. I'm just going to stream for maybe about an hour, maximum an hour and a half. I just want to get kind of the general idea going. I don't have, I don't have a plan. I don't have, like I'm not super prepared, but I just want to get something started. You know, artists can't paint unless they actually start putting stuff to the paper. So let's go ahead and put some stuff to the paper here. So I definitely need to import datetime. Um, right. And then because we're gonna be keeping track of dates, right? So let me go ahead and can I make this font a little bigger? Yes, font bigger. Okay, I can Command plus. So we are creating so this is going to be called the Small Business Manager, right? So I want this to be, it's going to be tailored to small businesses that just track single item inventories. And then it's going to, auto generate their tax documents for them, income statements, and things along those lines. I think would be really useful. It might take me a few weeks, months, a month maybe to complete this project, but at the end, I can actually use this because me and my girlfriend run a small business and I need something like this because I do it all manually on Excel. So if I just had like a user interface that I could just put everything in and it's all stored in the background, well, that'd be great. So let's just go ahead and put some stuff to the paper here. So we have datetime here. So this is going to be the item class. So this is going to be kind of the main class that things are created from. So we're going to create a class called item. And then, right. And then inside of item, when we initialize, I always forget the def in front of initialize. So when we initialize, we're going to take in the item name itself, right? Or the instance itself. And then what do I need here, right? So let's go ahead and come right here and then let's create a docstring. Whoops. I'm going to try to be thorough with this and learn everything. Learn stuff. Okay, so item is created, right? Item class. What does the item have in it? So the item, we can provide what do we want to have to be provided? You want to have a name or an item name, right? Will be more descriptive, right? And so this is going to be a string. You're going to have you need to give a so what is the name for the cost to acquire a good to then sell. The cost to acquire a good for resale is the cost of goods sold, the cost of sales, cost of good. Okay, so I guess I'd say cost of good for a lack of a better name. So this will be in the form of int, right? But this is actually going to be a float, right? So we have an item name is provided, and we have a cost of a good, which is provided to create the instance. Is there anything else that we want to provide that that we need that is vital for creating the item initially? No, I don't think so. If we just want to store it initially into inventory, we need to know just up front the name of the item and the cost of the good, right? So we'll save that as it is. Okay. So when an item is created, then I need to, we're going to, instantiate these instance variables. Self.item name is equal to item name, right? and self dot item or cost of good is equal to cost of good, right? So we are just going to be descriptive. We're creating the instance variables, right? Instance variable for item name. If I'm wrong on what this is, if it's not an instance variable, if I'm getting that terminology wrong, please correct me in the chat. So we're creating an instance variable for the cost of good, right? So then what I want to do is we want to create an instance variable, or right. So self dot date created. So what do we want to describe this as? What would be a good descriptor name? Like this is this is going to be the create instance variable for the date item was logged into system created, right? So should we do self.date underscore created, right? Like that. That'd be a good name, I guess, just for now. So this was going to be datetime.date.today, right? So this is going to be the date that the user creates it, right? Using datetime module. The item was created on that day. Do we need any other variables for the item at this moment? So we have the name, the cost of the initial cost up front, and then the date that we log the item into the system. No, I don't think so. So this is the initialization of that. So then what would be our next step? Right, we have an item. We can create an item, right? To do an example of this, right? If we just come down here and we go item one, we say like, if we just say like dress is equal to item, right? This is going to be name, item name is going to be equal to a, right? This is gonna be, we'll just say it is a Gucci dress, right? Just for a lack of a better word, right? And then we give it a cost of good. We say we source this item for 10, right? $10. If we then print dress, this isn't going to print. We need to define a repr object, and then we'll say return an f string for the what's the format for a repr again? If we just want to represent it in just a bare bones terminology, item, I think we'll just represent it literally as it is, item name is equal to how proper way to display a repr. Repr that is intended to return a single string used to recreate the object if possible, or provide ambiguous representation for debugging. Right, so yeah, it's you just do literally as if you were to create the the instance itself. So we'll say like it's gonna be this guy here, but we don't want to return this literally. We want to return self dot name item name, right? It goes like this, right? And then right, so quote that name. Okay, so you wouldn't do quotes here then. And then you would just do cost of good. What is this if not R? Use exclamation mark R to ensure string representation are properly escaped. Quotes within strings. I'm not sure what that. I never used that before. So this would be here we're going to insert not 10 but the self dot cost of good, right? So now if we run this program, we get back that item that we've created. Perfect. Rather than having it just stored in memory, we are displaying it now using the repr dunder method here. So escape. What is this? I don't know what does this mean? The that conversion flag in Python string formatting ensures that the repr of the value is used when formatting instead of the string representation. Okay, so you want to directly pass this in here and not the string that houses that value. Okay, so it might be necessary then. We'll include it. Okay. Right, nothing changes with that. Yeah, right, cool. Okay, so now it uses the quote, it encapsulates it with the string. So this should be a float, right? Takes in a float by default. By having this type hint here, do I need to still then convert it? Like here? Okay, yeah, so now it's a float object. Now we're getting sense, which is good. So So do we need to use a try statement to try to convert to a float first before we go ahead and do it? It's all right. So it's okay for now. So if I were to take this, right? But if I were to go like make this just test, make this a string, cost of good instance cannot convert to float. Yeah, right. So it has to be int, which we know that. So okay, it's fine. So we'll comment that out. So now, so we've successfully been able to create this item object, right? Now, what I want to do is we're going to we're going to create a new class here called do I want to have, so you have an item, right? Now then you can break down those items into individual categories such as shirts, dresses, skirts, pants. Do I want to create subclasses that are for each of those instances? Or because it's just a parameter associated with an item, I should probably just would it be more beneficial, because I'm not going to, there's nothing to manipulate about the dress aspect. There's nothing to manipulate besides like a size, right? Like if but that probably can be another attribute. So I'm trying to see what would be the best way to go about this. So they provide this. They can also provide a right. They also can provide a right item size. And this is going to be a stir. Okay. We self dot item size is equal to item size. So we create the instance variable for item size. All right. Just keeping these comments here for the viewers so they can know, follow along with each step. So the item size is a string, and it can only be a few certain values, right? The size can only be a certain criterion, right? It can either be extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, or we can have even bigger bounds, extra, extra small, extra, extra large. Now we can also incorporate a medium, large, large, you know, large, medium, like in between sizes as well, which could be useful. So we create the item size, we set it here, right? Um, we want to set item size is equal to none by default, and is given a stir, right? How do you, can you just do, is it like that? Okay, I guess that's how you do it. So by default, you have no size. And then we want to set item size using a method, right? So self.item size equals you take in whatever was given. What do we want to do? We need to obviously create a function here that determines the appropriate item size. So instead of setting a self item size to the item size, we need to create a function def set item check item size, right? So I'll just do this here, I'll pass. So I'll just write it in here for now. So if item size in size list, right? We want to go ahead and do this, assign it. It's inside the size list that we're going to create. Else, if it's not, we're going to print we want to raise value error or name error, right? We want to specifically raise a name error and print out set. We want to use f string. I'm going to raise name error. It could not create item. We'll say item not created, item creation failed. Item creation failed. Please use okay, so just we need to say it just okay. So we failed the creation of the item. We raised the name error, saying that it wasn't in the list. We'll say size list, right? Is equal to we'll do a set of sizes. Size set. So we have extra small, extra small, small. You put these in quotes, right? So extra small, extra small, small, right? Take this guy's quote. Small, small, medium. We want to be inclusive in size. We'll include all these. So medium, sizes, right? I want to say size, so we'll say for size. So if item size in sizes, we want to create the instance, right, of that. So medium, large, extra large, and finally extra large, right? So we have the set of sizes, right? None of them are repeating. It's in order as it is right now. If the item size that the user provides, right, is not in we're going to get rid of the default argument here. So if item size is in the sizes, right, then we're going to create the instance variable. Else we will item underscore size. So do we want to set it equal to none? Do we want to set it equal to none? And then raise this value error, raise this, or else we'll say raise value error. I like value error for this one. Value error. Size not found. Please use improper. What is? Give me a string statement for a value error stating that the size is not found, not accept size. Okay, we'll say, never mind. Say that. Got here. Say size not accepted. Acceptable sizes is this. And we'll say for shoot, we'll say we just want to print sizes like so. So now if I take this, okay, so what this will do is we have a list of sizes that are possible that the item can be given, right? If the item size that the user provides is in the sizes set here, then we're going to assign the variable, instance variable. Else, we're going to raise this value error, say it's not acceptable, and then that acceptable sizes are these sizes. So then we want to say self dot item size is equal to we'll say set item size right. We'll pass in item size here. Cool. So then we will define set item size right, as this guy. So yeah, we can always just take our function, build it inside of our block that we want to add, and then just replace it with the let's actually do Control X or Command X. Okay, so cool. So we're gonna pass in self here. Self dot item size. So we're gonna pass in self and then item size here. All right, if the item size passes in sizes, we're gonna assign it here, and then we're gonna return return item self dot item size. Size is equal to so we'll actually go back. So if item size. Okay, we want to set it here. Else do this, and then we want to return, right, return self dot item size. We need to return the actual value. So then set item size item size. This returns an object, so I can't set it equal to an object. So we want to just run that, right? We'll take this, let's move this size. If size, in size, we want to size. Cool. So that kind of makes it more universal. So then set so if it, we need to make this a class method, I believe. No. Why isn't this working? It's not a class method because it's not working on anything within the class. It's working on the instance itself. It's not a class method. It takes in a size. We're taking in a size in the form of a string. We're setting item size using the function set item size. And then we're setting we're running this function. We want to return not self, or just item. Return size. No, why isn't this work? Ah, come on, what's going on here? So no, this is a method. So I have to apply this method onto this is not this is a method, right? So I have to apply this method on the instance itself. Why is my brain not working right now? So set item size. We have to use this on the instance. I don't think I want this on self. And then I want to just take this outside of the function here. That. This isn't a part of the class. This is just a function to set the item size. But do I want it as a method within the class? So actually, let's go back. Let's include the self and the return statement. Return that value. So we want to assign self.item size to dot like that. What? Hold on, let me check something. My GitHub. Like with my self priority. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I set it like this. You set it with like this. So, oops. So we keep this what is equal to right, item dot. This is method within this class. Okay, so we set size with this. Cost of good. Okay, so now if I create the object called dress and set an item size equal to medium, right, and we print dress now, size. Right. Cool. So now that sets that. So now what happens if I do like a test here instead of the proper thing? Okay, I get boom, raise value or size not accepted, a value or size not accepted, available acceptable size of XL medium. It formatted that strangely. Why did it do that? Why did it format that like that? But if I just wrap this in a list, rather, now I get the right. Now it keeps my order. Huh. So why would using whatever. Okay. So yeah, so now that's doing that appropriately. So you have this class method, right? That sets the item size right here. Okay, so Perfect. So that does that now. Anything else we need to add? Um, you get a name. So you actually, another big important thing here we need to add in is a item. I think it's before the even name is item number, right? So item number is in the form of an int. Um, is going to be an integer, or should I have include values? Because can I have preceding zeros in integers? Like 0, 0, 1. Will that just reduce? Okay, so item number. So self dot item number is equal to item number. This is going to be item dot set item number on the item itself, and then we're going to take in it's going to be a class variable class because it's going to take in the whole um, all the objects, right? And it's going to take in on the class itself. We'll just do that, right? So in the item class itself, do we want to, I'm gonna check my Git. How did I do it last time? So where did I put the list? Okay, so it's just coming, it's just here in items. Right, so here's where our items are being stored. So it's going to take in the class, so then we need to set this class variable. This class method, so at class method, it will define set item number, and then we're going to take in the class, right, itself, and we're going to say we need to loop through if items, right, so if there's class.items, right, and that if there's items in the class, then we want to item class dot items. We want to access the last item in the list, right? We want to access the last item in the list. We want to access the last item's item number, right? And then we want to set this equal to we want to increment it by 1. So we want to go to the last item in the list. We want to access that item's item number. And we want to increment it by 1 and assign that value to self dot item number, right? So we want to set it to item number. Increase it back to the next item. So if there's items in the list, we want to set item number equal to we want to then return item number, right? Else, this is if it's empty, right? If the list is empty, item number is equal to 1. We'll return the item number, okay. So then this runs that. Why do I have to include? Okay. Cool. So that will successfully set the item number. So now so this then will not be an argument provided. This will be an argument that is default. Right? So item number is going to have a default value of none, and so will date created. just by default. None, right? So then we'll move this guy because this is not a part of the automated creation. Or it is part of the automated creation, but it's not part of the required. So this is the required parameters. Are they parameters? They're required attributes. The attributes, right? These are default attributes set automatically. Via their functions, right? So these default attributes, these are default attributes. They're set automatically via their functions here, right? So this is going to be creating an instance variable for item number. Date created. Okay, cool. All right, so now what that means is that we don't have to we don't have to provide an item number or the item date created when creating an item, right? This will still work, right? But we need to change this back to it's a large dress, right? Cool, size large. So then we can print the dress dot item number, and we'll see that this should just be 1. Perfect. If I create a second item here, and I'll change this from dress to shirt. Item name is going, we'll just say this is a Calvin shirt. Cost, well, this one was $5, and this is a size medium, right? If I print shirt item number, right? Okay, so now that's incorrect. So this should be printing, why did that not work? So if access the last item in the list, so we're, oh, because this is in each of these instances, why does it do that? Yeah, well, it by default it just takes in the class, right? So Emilio says you don't pass an argument to the set item number, I think. So the set item number, we're not passing any argument into here, right? Well, I don't need to because we're detecting internally via just the class items list. Now, what I think is happening though is it's creating this instance. Okay, what's happening is it's not being stored in the items. So we need to um, that's exactly what we're missing. So nothing is in the list actually. It's just being set by default to item number 1, right? Because there's nothing in that items list. Because we're not appending anything. Um, so right here we need to say um, uh, class dot, or when you say item dot items dot append, we need to append the instance itself here, right? So what this will do is this appends the the new item to the items list. Great. So now if we run this program, we get 1 and 2. Perfect. Awesome. Woo! Figured that out. Debugging over here. Look at us. No AI needed. We are debugging. Debugging. Call me an exterminator. I be debugging. Okay, so we append the item. Great. So now it's detecting. So if we add in a third item here, we call this some pants. We have an item name of, we'll just say these are Levi jeans. These cost $15, and these are a size small, right? If we print this one, print pants dot item number, we should get 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Great. So, is there a way to format the integer for item number to have pre-leading zeros, like 0, 0, 1? I'm sure there is. If you know anybody, Emilio, Kerwin, or Eric out there, if you're watching still, please let me know if you have any ideas about how to go about that. Okay, so what we have now is we have implemented a few things here. We've implemented a ripper, which displays all the information required to create an object. We can literally just copy this line for line, and what it outputs here, and you can create an object that way. So what is next on our agenda? So we have item class now that is appropriately being loaded and stored appropriately, right? Now, Hello, Luis. 21. I really appreciate you joining and leaving a comment. Welcome to my channel. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming. Hope you're doing well. How are you doing? Okay, so we have this class that we've set up, um, and we've set item size. We set item number, friend. Um, so I think I'm going to make this a little bit more robust. So I'm going to say, hey DJ Batman, welcome back. Appreciate you coming in and leaving a comment. It's awesome to hear from you. How you doing? How's your coding coming along? So we're gonna create def check um, check float, right? We'll check float, which takes in the instance itself, and then it takes in a value here, right? So this, okay, so then we're going to, basically this function is going to be a try block. Try to convert float value to float, right? Except if we get a value error, we want to display, except for a value error, we want to display except for a value error. Right, I want to say item creation failed. Value not type could not be converted to type float, right? Except for a value error, return print this guy, right? And then in the case that it goes through, we want to return the value, right? So we're going to try to convert the value to float. So instead of this, now we have a check in place. So we will say item dot check float for float for the item, the value. The cost of goods, right? The value is, in this case, is the cost of good. So now we've kind of just created our own value error flag specific to this circumstance rather than having the generic one thrown. So if we, for example, make the cost of good here, what happens if we make it a pre-existing float? Will we get an error? Missing one value. Okay, oh, whoops. We need a self call here because we're working on the instance itself. So we call this. Okay, no, so that works appropriately. So what happens if I just print dress, shirt, pants? Okay, somewhere. So try. We need to keep this. Try and return float. Return. Try to return the floated value, right? So now this will convert. Cool. So even if you provide a 10, it still looks like it converts appropriately. So that it doesn't matter if it's already a float. It will just, you can see like print float 100.0, and then if I just print this but get rid of the decimal, right, this still gives me the same value. There's no error, so float handles that internally as well. Cool. DJ Batman. So I'm building a small business manager application. Just kind of working through the back end bare bones right now, getting the classes set up for an object oriented approach in Python. I want to create a program that a small business owner like myself can use to track incoming inventory, cost of goods of that inventory individually, and then uh, you know have a section option where you can upload that item to be for sale, um, and then uh, yeah, so that would be really interesting. And then it all kind of tracks. So then when it uploads it for sale, it has a sale price. So I will probably what I'll do is when it becomes for sale, that'll be a subclass of the item. And so for sale then will take on all of the attributes of item and then have additional attributes like a for sale price and yada yada yada. So rather than it all being captured in one large class, I can have some um, parental classing and some inheritance going on as well, which would be kind of cool in my opinion. But then I could also have it print out, like I could formulate a way for it to generate like reports for me automatically, like you know, the cost of goods sold remaining after the end of the year. I can track all that stuff. And with date time, I can track, sale dates, acquisition dates of items. So then I can track at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter, when my accountant needs, okay, how many items were purchased in 2024? And out of those items, how many are left over for the next year? And what was the cost of those items so that we can carry that forward? Well, I could be able to figure that out easily rather than having to manually add it up like I have been in the past. So I think that this is going to be a great way to do all that. And if I have some sort of UI that can just generate the report based on like a filter of month and stuff, that would be really cool. So it's going to take a lot of work, not going to lie, but it could be a really big project at the end of it that could be beneficial to a lot of users, I think. And maybe could have some potential to make some money. Could be cool. All right. So we have successfully um, created this class, right? Of items. So now, do you think it would be more beneficial to have individual classes for every type of item? And the only thing that I would encompass was I would remove the item size, um, fat, you know, condition here. Um, and it would be incorporated under the subclass of dress, shirt. But it just, there would be so many subclasses, I feel like, at the end of the day, that it might not make sense. So I should probably just keep it within the individual item. It has a size. So then the only subclass that needs to be made is if the item becomes something else, right? So right now it's being stored within our main database of class item, right? Now, maybe I don't even want that to happen, right? Maybe I don't even want this storage to be happening within the class. Maybe I need that to happen within my program, right? That's something else to keep in mind. But for now, we'll just keep it in here. It can be an easy fix to move this out into my main program. Um, but I don't think that that really matters for right now. Um, but I'm going to take this repper. I'm going to move it right here, just under there. Right, like so. Cool. All right, so now that we have that, I want to go ahead and create a new Python file called um, item for sale class. So a for sale class, right? And so I'm going to import datetime on this one as well. And then in here as well, I'm going to create the class called for sale. Right. Cool, and then like so, we're gonna initialize it. Not init subclass, init, no. Init, right? Now for hierarchy inheritance, we do we're also going to say from item class import item, right? We import that as well. So instead of passing self here, we're going to super item. How to give make a subclass. Super dot init value. Okay, so this is going to take in an item name, cost of good. Do I want to have a subclass? Because if I have a subclass for sale, it's going to be super dot item. We're going to super the name. We want the item name. Size. No, we don't care about that if it's for sale. Item number, we want to carry over the item number. Okay, we want to take the item number. Okay, and then we want to do date sold or date listed, right? This by default is going to be a stir. And then it gets set with self dot, we super item name and item number, and we self dot date listed is equal to date listed. We self date listed is equal to datetime dot date dot today. No, I don't want to have a default value of none. We set it today. and then let me see something here. All right. So when for sale takes an item, right? When you take an item and transition it from being in the system, it's logged. Now an item can then become for sale. If it becomes for sale, it takes the same item name, it takes the same item number, right? It takes the same item number from before. And then it's given a date, a listing date, date listed for sale, right? And then what else is it given? It's given a sale price. Now, do we want to have a default value on date listed? No, it needs to be required. Right. So, listing price, right? Listing price is going to be listing price is going to be a float value, right? Check float. Creation failed. So we want to date listed is equal to that so they're optional. So date listed is not optional. Date listed needs to be provided. It is optional because we want the user to be able to override it. And the listing price needs to come before. Right, so listing price is a float. We need to so if date listed self dot date listed is equal to date listed. Else there's no date listed. Defaulted by today. So we list the item. So for sale items, maintain the same item name and item number from parent. Okay. And then we assign self dot listing listing price is equal to, we're going to check, we imported item, right? So we need to do check float, item dot check float on listing price, set create instance method for listing price. Right, so we create the instance method for the listing price. So this is going to be actually set date. I'll refactor that later. We'll leave it for now. So this sets that one. Okay, so now when an item comes for sale, do we need anything else? When an item becomes for sale, it maintains the same item number, it maintains the same item name, but it's given a new parameter of a listing price in the form of a float. We check the float. And then it's given a date listed for sale. Right. And by default, that's none. If there's a date listed by the user, we assign that date. Else, we assign the current date to it. So then, if we create a new class, right, we'll create a new class called sold class.py. So we'll import datetime here. We will also from so if I create a sold, it'll take the for sale item. I need the listing price from it, and I also need the date listed potentially. So I need a listing price. So I have to use a subclass of for sale, which is a subclass of item. So what if I am making a subclass of a subclass of a parent? If you're creating a subclass of class, I inherits from another photo that precedes quite similar to energy. Okay, cool. So it just maintains the same principles. So we'll say from come on back up. How does it do this? From for sale class import for sale, right? And then we're going to create a class called sold item. I'm going to rename this sold item. Class, I'm going to name this for sale. For sale item class. Okay, sold item. From for sale import for sale. Sold item class takes in for sale item. I want to keep for item, right? Takes in that for sale item. Okay, and then we def init. We take in self. Takes in item name, which default an int. Takes in item number, which is default a float, or an int, sorry. Makes in a so I'm actually going to remove the listing price because I don't think that really matters actually, because it only matters if we actually sell the item, what price we sold the item at. So the listing price is kind of arbitrary information, and I'm not really tracking it all. So in here we want to do a sale price, or price sold. Okay, this takes in a price sold in the form of a float, right? So in here we're going to super the init, and then we're going to super the item name, the item number, and what else from for sold item? The item name, number. Do we want the date listed? I don't really care. So we're going to super those. And then we're going to self.price sold is equal to item dot from item dot check float on the price sold, right? So we want to make sure that the float is in the float form. We'll check float on that guy, and then so when you have an item for sale, it gets listed. It gets a name, an item number, and a date listed. Oh, sorry. When you take in an item, you take in the item itself. It gets a name. It gets a cost that you had to acquire that item at. It gets a size. It gets a number and a date created. Right. For sale then supers the name and the item number and then creates a date listed. So we need to add actually in here. Takes in a stir value, which has a default value of a none. So then you append them. If there's a date sold, we want to sold else sold is equal to right. Set it to today by default. Hey, is it Anchor? How long have you been learning how to code? I've been teaching myself since before last summer, so around May, June. And so about 5, 6 months now, coming up on maybe even longer than that if I do the math. But Yeah, just little by little for fun, teaching myself on the side after work, a couple nights a week, trying to, learn a new skill. So, how about yourself? You learning how to code, teaching yourself? Are you in school? What's going on with you, man? Thanks for leaving a comment, by the way. Appreciate it. Feel free to follow along to the channel so we can stay in contact. Okay, so you when you initialize an item, it gets a name and a cost of the item. You initialize the size of the item, and it gets a number and a date created, right? Set item number, facing the class. Okay. So if I have item number being set via the list, I need to make sure that that list is sorted via the item numbers. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Okay, so I've gotten, yeah, man, just dropped a sub currently. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, dude. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Currently learning as well, just using online resources like yourself. This will be my first month learning. Well, good on you, man. Try learning, maybe taking a jab at the Python crash course PDF that's online. It's a great beginner resource. Maybe watch a couple of the CS50P lectures. That's a Python course offered by CS50 and Harvard. It's really great. I took that one as well. Um, but yeah, I've got some videos on my channel going over just some of the beginner try it yourself problems baked into the text. I need to actually create a couple more videos um, for the next couple of problems. I think I have up through chapter 2 created right now, so I need to keep going. I got a long ways to go, a lot of problems to make demonstrations for. But yeah, so definitely give that a go, and then use my videos as like a check, and it'll teach you really quick. It's really fun. Okay, so um, now I need to start. I've got the classes set up, right? So now I actually need to start manipulating this information somehow. I've got these being stored appropriately. Um, and now I need to create a program that's going to utilize these classes and in various ways. So I'm creating it. Feel free to check out the task tracker application I made on my GitHub. It's really cool. You can check out some of my previous videos to see how that works on my previous streams. I'll also be posting a video this week, guaranteed by this weekend, regarding just a quick recap of um, just a quick 2 minute demonstration of the task tracker app so I can show it publicly. But yeah, it's open for people to download. Anchor says, I put the CS50 course on hold. I'm almost midway through. I just can't complete the problem sets. I think they're way too challenging, so I put it on pause and just gaining the fundamentals. Do not feel discouraged at all. Okay, so the problem sets in those they are beginner in a sense. Looking back, yes, they are beginner concepts, but the way they frame things, they do try to get you into that mindset of solving like long complex problems and understanding a lot of prompts and things like that. But it really is kind of ineffective in my opinion of teaching you the bare bones from a raw beginner point of view. Some of the questions that the students would ask in the background, I would have no idea what they were referring to, and you could obviously tell that they had some previous knowledge with programming, and if you were a true beginner like I was, and maybe like yourself, Anchor, I often felt dumb and stupid in that course. But not that that's not a bad thing, right? If you're feeling dumb or stupid, it's probably because you're learning stuff. You're never gonna, if you're not feeling dumb at some point, it's probably because you're not learning. Um, so, I was learning the whole time, but it did, create some discouragement and also some frustration because I felt like I wasn't grasping things as fast as maybe I should have been. But I just kept pushing through, and really really mentally going through everything, loops, variables, functions, what they do. I went over and over and over my head. Like I would find myself literally in the shower just thinking about programming and what the concepts they were telling me, and it just helped to just go over and over again. And I'm still learning about these things. I've incorporated some programs in my task tracker app of using classes and things like that, and I'm starting a new object oriented project right now, just getting the bare bones set up. But um, yeah, I'm still learning even now, and I'm going to be transitioning into the Fluent Python book, which is kind of a more intermediate book. Looks really big and scary. And then I have a machine learning in Python book as well that I'm going to be reading. But on the stream, I didn't do it today because I just want to take a little break, but I'm reading the data structures and algorithms in Python book. Um, and I've been working through the problems in that text with the stream as well. So it's been really fun doing that. Okay, so right, we have cool. This is everything is working appropriately here. So what if you want a subclass of a subclass to have access to the parent, to the root parent um, attribute? If you want a subclass of a class to access the root grandparent class attributes, the key is to ensure that the inheritance chain correctly propagates the attributes from the root class down to the final subclass. In Python, when you create a subclass, it inherits all of the attributes and methods from its parent class, including those that the parent class inherited from its own parent, the root class. Here's how you can do it. So the root class, top level class that defines the common attributes, intermediate. Okay, so self root attribute, you super the init self sub attribute. Okay, so you can just super the init to gain access to all the attributes. So I'm just going to super the entire init then, rather than just worrying about the individual things. So I want to keep at the end, the sold item will have all of the parameters of items. Anchor said, "Of course, well said. What's the goal for you? I'm intrigued on your journey, and are you creating projects in the meantime while learning and looking for full time? What's the long term look?" No, actually, I'm kind of in a unique situation. I graduated back in 2021, the end of 2021, with a bachelor's of science in human biology and chemistry, and then I got a job about a month after school, right, pretty much right after school. I moved to California here and found work at a biological biotech company, and I'm a formulation chemist is my title. I make a lot of biological controls used in patient diagnostic testing and stuff like that, like in hospitals, things that you use to diagnose diseases and stuff, the controls that you compare them to for accurate results. I make those in my lab, in the lab and stuff. And so that's what I do by profession. So I found a lot of instances where I could, formulate, chemical matrices that I do by hand. I could do those in programming, and now I don't have exactly the algorithmic knowledge to do that yet. Hence why I'm reading data structures and algorithms in Python, the PDF version. I'm reading that on stream here, um, so I can develop that knowledge to be able to make that matrix. But I for my final project at CS50P, I created an inventory storage system, which you could add chemicals or pretty much any modular storage unit to the system, and then remove it and view it and edit the inventory levels and things like that. So it was really kind of cool. But so yeah, I have that professional background, and then if I can just take that and learn programming for fun, additional skills, I don't really have a lot of hobbies besides playing guitar and programming. So and my work. So yeah, I just wanted something to do. So that'd be fun. So and I figured that I might as well stream, and if in case anyone else is following along in a similar situation or inspiration for where to start. My goal is to not teach anybody. I'm not a teacher. I could teach you all about chemistry. I have a degree in chemistry and biology, so I could teach you all about that. But I don't. I'm not a teacher. I'm a student of computer science and programming. So, but if you happen to learn from my learning, then that's just cherry on top, right? So I appreciate the words, and if you're watching the stream and that sounds interesting to you, please follow along and subscribe. I'm almost to 80 subscribers here, so we've made some really solid ground over the past month and a half here on the channel. I think I went from about like 17, 20, all the way up to 80 over the course of the past month. So a lot of progression here. So it's really great. And then I have a Discord for people to chat offline, hoping to get that more active so we can all, and then maybe like a project we can all work on together or something. I don't know. Could be cool. So we initialize, we super all of the values of item name, number, and date listed, right? Root attribute. So according to this example, right, you have your root class, which has this root attribute, and then you initialize with self, and then you super the initialize from above, and then you have a new sub attribute, and then you can display attributes in this sub class, which displays the root, the sub, and the sub. Okay, so it gains all of them. Perfect. So this item class will have the name, cost of good, item size, item number, and date created. Um, date created, right? Anchor says, I see you using your degree alongside programming that goes hand in hand with your work. Nice work. I hope to keep following you on your journey. Have a good stream. Thank you so much, Anchor. I'm about to probably sign off. It's getting kind of late. Been going for about 2 hours tonight. Um, and so, yeah, I just wanted to hop on for a little bit and get some work done. But thank you, man. See you later. Have a good night. Well, I'd love to hear more about you and in the future. So we have date created. And then in the for sale class, we do we need to incorporate in the self everything? What if there are attributes given in the dunder init? When you pass attributes to dunder init method, the class those attributes can part of the instance if you want the subclass to the instance access. You need to ensure the super call is used appropriately. The init method root calls. So root attribute, self root attribute. Okay, so you do have to keep all of them actually. So we need to go back. No, we don't want that. We want to keep that, right? Okay, so we super the item name, the number, the price sold is unique to the sold item, and the date sold is unique to the sold item. Okay, in the for sale item, in the middle ground, we have item name, which is supered from the parent. We have the item number, which is supered, right? And then we have date listed, which is, provided. If not, it is set to the today. Okay, perfect. So that takes care of that. So I think tomorrow what I'm going to do is start setting up some, trial and error with the Tkinter GUI graphic user interface module, and try to set up some sort of GUI for creating an actual task. And because in before I've just been using terminal prompts, so we will try to, create the tasks via GUI this time around, which could be interesting. It's going to be difficult for sure, but it should be fun. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Feel free to follow along for the channel and watch the videos on Python Crash Course.